MOJO.
Got my mojo working. Got my mojo working.
MOJO. MOJO.
My mojo, baby, yeah! My mojo, baby, yeah!
Got my mojo working.
MOJO.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is your Vibe Mistress Stephanie Renee, and thank you for joining me on today's edition of the Mojo Live. As you can see, I am employing a really kind of chic background today as we are celebrating Women's History Month, and also because if you do not follow me on Facebook, then you have probably not seen the drama that has been going on in my life surrounding where I currently reside. And so it's not really chaos behind me, but y'all don't need to see boxes and such happening. But I wanted to open with this information because not because I'm seeking anything particularly from you all as an audience, but because I know I'm not the only person who here in the city of Philadelphia has experienced some landlord tenant drama that has set you back, has, the last thing you need in your life at any given time. And you might need a little information to help you navigate through all of the nonsense and not necessarily know where to go to get it. So the first resource that I want to make sure you are aware of is affordablehousing.com. And shout out to my girl Sharice, who is tuning in today. Affordablehousing.com allows you to use a calculator very similar to Zillow. If you are familiar with that kind of thing, where you basically put in your income. Of course, the dog starts this now, but you put in your income and the calculator will tell you where your safety zone is in terms of how much you should be spending for rent, and then let you know about listings that fit certain criteria. Like for me, it's pet friendly, and other things that you might want or need in your space, and allows you to see what is currently available on the market without having to go through all of the other drama. The other great thing about listings on affordablehousing.com is that because people understand you have a situation where your income might be limited anyway, one of the other things that it shows you automatically is properties that do not require an application fee and other things that can make the shift much more doable for you or someone in your situation. Now, the one thing about my situation that you should know is that this is not anything of my doing. In rapid succession, two things happened that let me know this is the time that I need to get up out of here. One is that, and I really want to actually shout out Miss Ophelia, who lives upstairs in the 5th floor of my building. And this concept that we talk about, we usually talk about it very casually, talking about putting the neighbor back in hood. If it was not for my neighbors, a lot of this information I would not have had. But thankfully, a friendly face, a hello, a how you doing when you are out and about goes a long way toward people talking to you about more than just the pleasantries, talking to you about some real situations that are happening that you might not know. And there was a filing with L&I, licenses and inspections here in Philadelphia, to say that this building was unsafe. Now, you might see some stuff going on around your property and think, oh, it's cosmetic, it's whatever. No, the issues that were happening here are structural. And they're still going on. There's currently a crew somewhere around here doing work on the roof. I didn't want to burden you all with the photos of what is happening, but I'm talking about big construction size debris bins that they have stationed all around the building, and boarding and all kinds of nonsense. And the only reason I knew it was coming is because I said hello to a neighbor who then came over to my balcony and started talking to me about what she found online and what she knew to be true. And then I looked up, found it was verified. And I don't know about y'all, but when L&I, who we often complain about for all different kinds of reasons because they don't catch things in time or what have you. And you also know here in Philly that buildings will fall down in a heartbeat, particularly after we've had torrential rain and strong winds. The architecture in this city is older, and so it can always pose a safety hazard if it's not being upkept properly. And so when I saw L&I filing, I was like, I've got to get out of here, because the rental office didn't say, to this date, this was almost 2 weeks ago, to this date, they have still not said anything to the residents of this building. They only put up a sign on the front door and sent an email last week saying that people will be coming to work on the roof, but not the reasons why, not the severity of the issue, just that it was happening. I can't abide by it, y'all, and I hope that you all will not abide by it either. So affordablehousing.com is one place you can go to try and find a solution that fits your budget, but also fits your circumstances, and go through the application process and try to find something that isn't as glamorous, perhaps, as some of the things that they show on Zillow and apartments.com and what have you, but are legit listings that have been vetted and that you can turn to if it is necessary. But the other thing that I want to show you on screen, and then I encourage you to go look into it for yourself if you need this information. And let me share screen here. All right. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Philly Tenant Resource Guide. Now, of course, it's brought to you by the Philadelphia Eviction Prevention Project, but there is much more information here that can be useful to you if you find yourself, as I did, in an emergency situation and you need to understand what your legal recourse is and what city solutions might be available to you to make a change. So as we scroll down, this is also downloadable. This is a PDF that is available on the phillytenant.org is the website, as you see here. But all of these different organizations got together to put this in one 28-page document that you can have and you can use as you need to. So as you see, they give you information about housing, the legalities of eviction, if that's your situation, utilities, how to get food resources, health resources, to find work, all of these things that are critical if you find yourself in an emergency situation and you need to find housing. So we've got emergency shelter numbers, addresses, hotline for you to try and get assistance. Security deposit assistance. A lot of people talk about that. If I don't have the money right now to be able to move, what can I do? Where can I go in order to get some other resources? This, I was like, oh yeah, this is important. How do I get my landlord to make repairs? This isn't the first time that I've dealt with repair issues. Previously, they were all inside my apartment, and I'm blessed and have resources and have been able to handle it on my own. But for those of you who don't necessarily have those same resources, this is what you can do. This is step-by-step instructions, even a sample letter for how you explain to your landlord that these are the things that need to happen, and this is what I am prepared to do until it gets resolved. Again, how do you get my security deposit back? Sue for security deposit if it comes down to it. I won't read the whole document to you, but I wanted to share this specifically so you can see that you don't have to do all the legwork. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a guide already prepared, and all you have to do is go to phillytenant.org, download the PDF, and page through it and see what all you can do if you find yourself in a situation where you and the landlord are not connecting and you need to get out of whatever you have signed, get out physically of your space, and find yourself in a much better situation. I'm thankful that I'm out of here at the end of the month. I do not want this building to come down on my head. And I'm making that move to make sure that I am safe and well taken care of. And I thank all the angels in my life who reached out to me with suggestions and offers to help make this transition happen. And I am following up on that sooner rather than later. And so just know that, they always say that, there's an app for that. Well, there are always resources for that also. And we are in the process now, and Sharice can testify to this, that our community, we understand how under siege we feel right now with all of the things that are going on with the federal government, all of the things that are changing, people being laid off without notice, all the things, right? And so today we want to lean into what works and gathering resources for you to believe that even if you are under the weight of a whole bunch of nonsense, there is always a way out, and there are always available resources to help you. And we've got to continue turning in on our own community to lift ourselves up and get out from under. And so that really is the crux of what we are going to be talking about consistently on today's program. We're going to take our first musical break of the day and continue to uplift this work. And then we're going to talk to a very good friend of mine who is doing some miraculous things here in the city of Philadelphia for our children in particular. And so that, of course, led me to our first musical break of the day. If you know me, you know I love a cappella music. And so I'm relying on the considerable skills of Take Six to sing about this precise thing from their album, So Much to Say. This song is called Where Do the Children Play? And we'll be back on the other side with more conversation here on the MOJO Live.
Come here, boys. Playing in the schoolyard. Need to have your time and attention. Oh, after crack and things like that, I guarantee your money back. Somebody tell me where. Lord, come on.
You are listening to The Mojo on Soul Sanctuary Radio, your home for independent artistry since 2003. And we are back here on the Mojo Live for this, what is it, March 19th, 2025. That again was Where Do the Children Play from Take Six, the So Much to Say album. And there is always concern in our communities, urban, suburban, rural, wherever you happen to be, because this world is not kind to our children. This world is challenging our children every step of every day. So when they find a place where not only they are welcomed, but they are uplifted, they are given resources to be the best they can possibly be, then that is something that we absolutely need to shout about. And I was so encouraged to read about, see, and then see with my own eyes the work that one Pastor Aaron Campbell, my fellow Penn alum and my brother from another, as I refer to him, is doing with his ministry in West Philadelphia, but it is citywide, and he is always on the run. So the fact that he is able to join us today is a show enough blessing, and it looks like he's in the vehicle now, but we're going to welcome him on screen now. What's happening, Aaron?
My sister, what's good? How are you?
I'm good. Listen. You see, we dressed alike today.
Oh, wow. No, you didn't. I love it.
I
I
did.
love it. Hold on, let
I
me get a
did.
screenshot. Hold up the shirt. Let me get a screenshot of
Okay.
that right now. Boom. There we go. Ooh, thank you. Hey, sister,
Absolutely.
can I just begin by giving you some flowers, my sis? You are joy incarnate. You are just consistent joy, consistent empathy. I mean, since I've known you, so I just want to give you flowers for being who you are, because you're big sister to many, I think more than you know. And it's been
Mm.
like that since, for me, it's been like that since 92. So we're talking 33 years.
Man, listen, we really we're claiming all those years, yes, for sure. But I am humbled and thank you. But I had to, I had to. You reached out to me and you said you got to come see what I'm doing.
No
And I
doubt.
got a chance to come to your facility and meet some of these children and see all that you were doing in this space on Chestnut Street, just a stone's throw away from the campus that changed both of our lives considerably, far more than just what we got academically. It
For
changed
sure.
our lives as humans, of course, where you met your wife as well. So these are
No
all
doubt.
wonderful life developments. But please tell the people about what you're doing with Level Up, what Level Up even is.
Sure, sure. Well, I'm gonna lose the shades, man, because I don't want no distance between me and my sister right now. You know what I mean? But so Level Up Philly, we are the largest anti-violence holistic mentoring program, not just in Philly at this point, not just in the region at this point, but on the entire East Coast and beyond. We serve 2,500 high-risk youth weekly. We cook 800 gourmet meals a day. We are considered the only neutral place in Philly where every gang warring neighborhood will peacefully gather, like we're the United Nations. But that's part of the mentoring, teaching them, giving them a home. A Level Up is not just an organization, it's a movement. It's not just a movement, it's a family.
Yeah.
So we have 141 different schools in our building on any given day. We do the dance. I mean, Tangin, the Tang dance style has had its resurgence and traveled worldwide because of Level Up. That the dance is actually how we've reconciled a lot of the neighborhoods. I invite anyone to come and see the dance battles. I mean, Councilwoman Kendra Brooks just came out. Philly Youth Commission leader Shania Bennett, Councilwoman Lendaw. Who else? I mean, the list is Jamie got there. The list has been
Mhm.
so deep of those coming out and just immersing themselves because it's all of our babies, right? These are all of our babies You know, it takes a village to raise a child. So we have a
Yeah.
$300,000 STEM lab where we're teaching them STEM and preparing them for the future, a math literacy and career development lab. And we're actually building a recording studio and a podcast studio. It'll be completed in 2 weeks. And my sister, we got to have you out there to teach the kids how
Absolutely.
to use their voice and create content. So we need you.
Yes, you already know when you told me that's what you were doing, I was like, okay, clearly this is where I can tag in and I can do something that makes good sense that I know will elevate the voices of our children. And I think you sharing all of that information, I don't want it to minimize. We definitely want people to follow you after we have this chat today so they can see it for themselves, because the level of what you have created in this space is phenomenal, and absolutely not what people generally think of when they think of a ministry. What you are doing is a youth outreach ministry. So talk to us a little bit about how you heeded the call to serve in such a capacity and then to create a space for your ministry that does not look like a typical church sanctuary.
Yeah, well, there's a difference between the followings of Jesus and churchianity. And we have to be careful of churchianity. That's what made me want no parts of following the Bible at all, because I only knew churchianity. If
Yeah.
you follow the teachings of Jesus, everything we do at Level Up lines up directly with it. So it's a no-brainer once you distance yourself from churchianity. Remember, the church is supposed to be a triage unit, not a country club. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So yeah, don't get me started. You know what I mean? But it's God's heart for these babies. What
Yeah.
happens when you take the shooter? And the news has been reporting the biggest gangs, and these are teenagers.
Yeah.
We've hosted every one of those gangs being listed. We've hosted every one of those gangs. But what happens when you show them they have value? When you take a shooter with a mask on, who's homeless, sleeping on couches, 18 years old, 17 years old, carrying a gun as a security
Mhm.
blanket, and will shoot you because he doesn't think he has value and resents everyone else. What happens when you hand him a platter of teriyaki brown sugared salmon and
Mm.
some curry rice and some lamb chops? and
Yeah.
and you and you take your name and put it on them, and you say, "Welcome to Level Up." Like one young person said, "Who needs a gang when you got Level Up?" So, it's about showing them they have intrinsic value. We do
Yes.
cash for grades. You can get cash even if you have straight D's, because we're showing them you don't have to dunk a ball per se. You don't have to twerk per se. You have value already, even with your straight D's.
Yeah.
And this is a replicable model, and we're showing that it works. It's very strategic, very
Yeah.
strategic, and it's a blessing. It is a blessing.
I need to step in here and say also that, you mentioned churchianity. I love that. I'm going to borrow that and give you your proper attribution. But the level of rule making and oppression that comes from the way people think their religion should be practiced or should show up in the world versus the way you love up on these kids is profound, to the point where they don't call you Rev, they don't call you Pastor, they call you Unc.
Yeah, and they coined that. Then it goes from Unc to God Dad, then it goes to Dad. But these are names they coined. Because the number one rule, you can never make up your own nickname. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right. Yes, Mama Sonia also says you can't call yourself a poet. You are a poet when somebody
Mm,
else says that you are a poet. So that same
wow.
principle absolutely applies with that. But let's kind of talk for the benefit of people who have not been able to see your wonderful facility as I have. You have step and repeat and cameras set up in the hallway so the kids can shoot themselves and talk and do all that they do with social media at any given moment.
Hmm.
You have, in addition to the STEM lab, which is fabulous with all these screens and the lighting, you have 3D printers so that they can create objects and things in this room. You have video games. You have couches, lounges where they can just chill out and kind of decompress from whatever was going on outside of the walls.
For
And
sure.
and then in the typical space that would be thought of as a sanctuary, You have flags that represent all these various places that the children may come from. And that, in what would be the pulpit, is where you set up the DJ.
Exactly. Our building is 12,000 square feet. And in that STEM lab, we also have VR headsets. So we want them to be leaders. The battle continues for equity, the battle continues for equality, but also we got to add in excellence. Why not?
Yes,
Why just want to tie Lower Marion? Why just want to tie Radnor? Why not be better than them? Why not raise up our babies to be more proficient in STEM than them? We have two robots we've got from China, the world's leading robotic dogs, Unitree, the Unitree robots,
okay.
$27,000 a piece. We got them from a large donation we received from benefactors. But the kids are learning coding and they command these dogs. So while people are gathering, while the kids are there, robotic dogs are just running through the building. Two dogs, VR headsets again, teaching them digital navigation, because now we have to talk about career pipelines. We have to talk about
Yes,
rescuing this generation from becoming a permanent underclass. A
absolutely.
permanent underclass. You've read the book Caste and are familiar with that.
Mhm.
That's real. And these are the conversations we need to be having, because we're in the midst of a civil rights crisis with our babies.
Yep,
We're in the midst of a human rights crisis with our babies.
for sure.
Philadelphia is the poorest of the 10 largest US cities. I have kids who only eat dinner when they come to Level Up Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The other nights, they don't get dinner. Philadelphia also has incarcerated more teens than anywhere in the country. And we have more teens serving life without parole. We have among the highest teen suicide attempt rates.
Hmm.
We're either number one or number two. So there is a crisis going on here. And, as W.E.B. Du Bois said, it's time for the talented 10th to rise up. But he made clear, and I had to correct myself. I thought just us going to Penn, braving some racism, dealing with some institutional racism,
Yep.
taking some AFAM classes, that if we graduated, and it was hard, wasn't it, my sis?
Hmm.
Especially in the 90s. But if we graduated, I thought that automatically made us the talented 10th. No,
Nope.
according to Du Bois, you're only the talented 10th when you've used the skill sets you've acquired to reach back to uplift your race.
Yes.
So a lot of our folks need to look in the mirror and say, I am not part of the talented 10th. Because we all have the story of fighting the system and this, that, and the third. And my own dad grew up as a Jim Crow segregated farm boy in the Deep South. He didn't sit
Hmm.
in an integrated classroom until he came up north to Seton Hall at 18 years old. We all have our stories, but that does not, I thought that automatically made me the talented 10th. You're only the talented 10th if you get them skill sets and bring them and put skin in the game. So
Yes.
I'm not about um putting down. I believe everyone does want to get involved. I think they just need to be stirred to action. And I think people just want to know where they can really get involved that's meaningful.
Yeah.
And then some are just lazy and in their bubble, in their comfort zone.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we need an all-around renaissance in how we think as a people. So we're just
Absolutely.
trying to play our humble part. And we wanna stir people to jealousy. We want them to see what we're doing with these babies and say, "I am jealous." They get all this fun because the stars of the show are the babies.
Yeah.
When you go to a jewelry store, no one cares about the hand; it's the diamonds in the hand. I'm just the hand, my sister.
Hmm.
So yeah, and you've seen the diamonds. You've seen what happens when you
I
take
have.
these quote unquote lumps of coal and teach them how to embrace the pressure in their life and emerge as diamonds.
Yes, indeed. Well, so I also want to make sure that people understand you didn't wake up one day and have this facility and the funding and all of these children coming in for what you felt called to do. Tell them how
No.
Level Up started, the humble beginnings of this organization that you
Ah.
built.
So yeah, our church building, and I started the church in my living room in West Philly 25 years ago with three people. We moved and purchased this building um, 15 years ago, 12,000 square foot building. And I got a vision about 6 years ago that we were going to knock all the walls out the building, put flat screen TVs on all the walls, put in an arcade, get rid of our coffee shop with our nice little brownies and our iPads, all that nice stuff. Nothing wrong with it, but we got rid of all that. And the goal was to bring the whole city into our building. And I actually started it with my 401k.
Mm,
Um,
Real
You
talk.
know, and it was a risk. It was a risk. And I tell people all the time, I tell my babies, some bet on romance, some bet on horses, some bet on real estate. I bet everything, everything, even my own safety, many, many nights on the hood, on the hood
Yeah.
babies. And now fast forward, we've now been supported by the state. I just got a personal note from Governor Shapiro about Level Up 2 weeks ago. We're now supported by the
Mhm.
mayor's office. We received funding from them as well. That's how we were able to put in the STEM lab. Mayor Parker loved Level Up, has the biggest praises, and we just salute her for allowing us to receive
Mhm.
the funding. Her and her team. So we're there now, but it's been a struggle on both financial insomnia at night, and then even just my own
Yeah.
safety. In 2021, when we were the murder capital, there was a time if my wife did not hear from me by 10:30 at night, she was afraid I got
Yeah.
shot. I mean, we had the Uzis drawn in the back street, different neighborhoods. Before we reconciled them, it was like Reservoir Dogs many nights. No
Yeah.
exaggeration. I have 15 Pennsylvania state agents on my payroll, and that's how we do the body
Hmm.
checks. That's how we secure the place. But it's war games. But the kids are worth
Yeah.
it. And now they're saying that Philadelphia has experienced a 40% drop in homicides, and many are saying we're a major reason of that. We knew that because we feel it. But I'm glad that people are looking to us and looking to our kids most of
Yes.
all.
Yeah. And I came at your end of the school year ceremony last year, and folks, you need to understand, I left before all of the kids got there, but there were hundreds of kids there while I was there. It was a backyard barbecue, checking in with folks, water ice. It was celebratory. People also need to know that you are using your ground for more than just the actual building. You've got a garden in the back where you're growing food to
Yes.
keep feeding some of these young folks.
Yes, we have a 2,500 square foot garden. We just entered into a big partnership with PHS, Pennsylvania Horticultural Society, who bring us the
Hmm.
flower show, which is the oldest flower show in the world, I believe. So we now are in partnership with them. But yes, we do farm to table. We're teaching the kids the difference between cilantro and parsley. And when kids fight, and we have suspensions that level up, we raise you. I mean, so that includes all elements of love, even discipline. But we will, if two kids fight or two kids threaten to kill each other, we make them reconcile. You have to reconcile if you're going to continue to attend level up. We've had kids who pulled guns on other kids to their chests, but you will shake hands. And if one of you is not willing to, well, then you're not willing to
Right.
level up. But we'll make them work in the garden together and do weeding and they'll get in the dirt. But I'll get in the dirt with them, talk about
Yeah.
life with them. And that's the key. It's consistency. You show me the most shiesty wearing, gun carrying youngin. They want mentors. They want love. They want an adult to look in their eye and say, "Hey, I believe in you." However, what's different with this generation is, and me and your generation, Stephanie, any elder could walk up and pull the
Yep.
OG card in the middle of the grocery store. If we didn't know them, we would acquiesce. Let me tell you, this generation, they'll beat you up if you try to pull that
Yeah.
OG card. If you've not earned it, because they're angry. They know that we have washed our hands with them. They know that we don't care. They were born into a system that they did
Yep.
not create. They are responsible for what they do, but they did not create this mess, this trifecta of social media and poverty and a failing education
Hmm.
system. They did not ask to be born into this, and they know we've let them down, so
Yep.
they're angry. So you're going to have to earn their
Yep.
respect. But let me tell you, once you have it for life.
Absolutely. And you earn it
Um,
by showing up. Period.
100%, 100%. Rain, shine, sleet, or snow.
Yeah.
I've barbecued in $500 Jordans, to keep it real, in the mud. Why? Because I told them they were going to have burgers, and some texted me at 2 a.m. I haven't eaten in 2 days. I can't wait for that
Mhm.
burger. So I got to cook the burgers. Sneakers mean nothing at
Yeah.
that point.
And people need to know that the day I was there were also oxtails going on in the kitchen. And I know plenty of people who walk into the grocery store and go, "Ooh, oxtails, not in this month's budget." But it's not just the subsistence kind of things that you provide for your kids. You give them elevated things because they deserve it.
They deserve it. And it shows you how much we have to change our thinking, right? Because some will see me serving oxtails and say like, "Whoa, that's so expensive." But it's like, but if I put in, I don't know, like a whole digital LED screen behind my stage, right, for
Mhm.
$10,000, people would say that's a
Right.
come up. So our priorities are
Mhm.
off. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? The real come up is investing everything in
Yes.
our youth. That's the real come up. And we shop at Restaurant Depot. We design on a dime. If you can cook, you can make it happen with a lot of stuff. And look, we know how to go hood too. I'll make some egg noodles in some butter and grated and with a
Right.
little chicken stock. We know how to do that. But
Yeah.
but yeah, we teach them. They didn't even know what brisket was, smoked brisket,
Right.
venison. I've got hunters who hunt venison in North Jersey, and we get venison, and we butcher it and we talk to them. It's all creating. There's a phenomenon called schema. It's a scientific, a real biological phenomenon. When you expose kids to different things, neurologically, they form new schema or learning boxes. So every
Yes.
time we have a violinist playing when they come, we have opera in the computer lab, oxtails, brisket, cheeses, quail, caribou. Every time we do this, they're forming new schema. So what happens
Mhm.
when a kid only goes from their dilapidated school to the neighborhood poppy store to sports to home to their dilapidated school to the poppy store to sports to home? They
Yeah.
don't develop schema. So what ends up
Right.
happening when new information comes their way, it hits a wall and falls. But all the
Yes.
kid will say is, "I'm bored," or the kid goes to sleep, or the kid says, "Ew, what's that? I only eat. You don't got no wings and fries." That's because they've not had the schema developed.
Mhm.
I mean, the other day we went to the flower show, and the director of the flower show gave us a personal tour. 25 of my youngins. We then went and took a whole restaurant over in Chinatown. Their
Nice.
first time sitting down in a Chinese restaurant, my kids were ordering octopus, duck. Why? Because we've already created those schema. If
Yes.
not, they would have all been asking for fried wings and fries.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, so this is
Absolutely.
it's even scientific. Love even produces scientific, real biological phenomenon in the brain, you
Yes.
know?
Yeah, and
So,
we've been told for years, if you don't see it, you can't be it. And so the idea of a young person, I one of the things that fascinated me when I first came to Philly for Penn was talking to kids that lived in the neighborhoods who had never even been downtown, let alone outside of the city to see all the things that can be offered elsewhere. So they couldn't even dream it because they had not physically been present in these places that give them a new way to think about life.
yes,
And the other thing is that if kids get a chance to understand what these other suburban school districts look like, those facilities look like, then they can transform that anger into activism and they can work to change those circumstances. So it's not just about being jealous of somebody else, it's being able to legitimately question, why don't I have this? And I should have this, and be able
yes,
to help be part of the solution to get better for themselves
no
and for
doubt. I,
everybody else.
I like that. Anger into activism, no doubt. Exactly.
And that's what we're going to have them do in the podcast lab. They're going to be able to
Oh,
transform those feelings into content that they can send out into the world in their own words and tell people what things are like for them and what they want to see in the world so we can help them get it.
oh, indeed. And get ready. You're gonna be Auntie Steph. They're gonna fall in love with you. So
Oh,
I'm heading
we'll
down
see.
now. We're on a Wednesday. That's the day we bring out the DJ. Wednesdays we get anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 young people.
Hmm.
We don't have our address even posted anywhere because if so, we'd have 5,000 a week.
Right.
So it's all word of mouth. Even though we did just put up our Level Up Philly mural that you can now see from the train. It's on the back of our building. It's the
Nice.
first mural in Philly, and our kids are wearing shiesties in the mural. It's really showing who they are.
Yeah.
We may have our opinions on the shiesty, but that speaks to a time, a part of their life they'll never forget that they lived through that we as kids did not go through. So
Yeah.
this mural represents them. So if you're on the Market Frankfurt line, right when you're coming up to the 46th Street stop, if you look southbound, right before the stop, you'll see the building opens and you'll see the Level Up Philly mural. But
That's
yeah, so
awesome.
today's a big day, and every time we gather, we celebrate life. I've had 12 of my closest mentees murdered in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I've had 35 shot in the last 2.5 months. I keep gauze in the kitchen cabinet. I have to show them how to change out their gauze wounds because the hospitals, one of our young guys was shot. The hospital, he was shot in the groin. The hospital literally gave him pain meds and discharge papers and pushed him right out the door. And he had to dig through the trash to find a cane and then limp over to level up on a cane. Oh yeah. So we want to talk about these disparities and what is happening. I mean, yes, civil rights crisis, human rights crisis. If you remember the 12-year-old who was found shot in the head in the dumpster 2 years ago,
Yeah.
Hezekiah, that was one of my babies.
Yeah.
If you remember July 4th, the big party promoter who was innocently shot in the head 2 weeks before graduating from Bartram,
Yeah.
that was Maurice, my baby. I was just with him the day before, and I just told him, I understand, he was very good at party promoting. And look, there are people making six figures, seven figures as party promoters. He
Yeah.
was the man, but I had just told him to be careful. And the next day, he died.
Mm.
Every time we get together, it's a celebration of life. People ask me why I take so many pictures when we're together. The reality is, I don't know who I may see or not see the next gathering. That's what it's like in Philly for our young people.
Yeah.
I mean, even Christmas Eve, you remember there were two murders. The one, Talik Bridges on C in the Boulevard, my closest baby. And he had just said to me the week before, Unc, I want to start spending time with you again. I got off track, but I want to get back to those one-on-ones we used to have. And so, I cry a lot, my sister. I cry a lot. I've cried more than I've ever cried, but I've also laughed more than I've ever laughed in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So I don't know who benefits more, them or me. Level Up has changed me and my family more than anything I think we could point to.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna call that an omnidirectional blessing. It goes out all
Mm,
ways and it comes back to you from all ways because of the good work that you're doing. I know you are on the move. You've got a busy day ahead of you. So I want to be mindful of your time, but please tell people how to learn more about what you're doing, how to contribute to what you're doing so that you can continue to expand and reach as many young people as your resources can bear.
yes, thank you so much for that. So yeah, as you can imagine, 2,500 young people weekly. This doesn't even step into diapers for teen moms, homelessness and Airbnbs because kids are sleeping on park benches, cracked iPhone screens because young girls are followed by creeps and they can't even hit 911. We have to do all of that. So it is expensive, but that's where the village comes in,
Right.
right? God designed that we all play our part. We just got to play it well. So I would just encourage people to go to the website. It's levelupphilly.org, levelupphilly.org. Check everything out. You'll see the computer lab and everything else. Follow us on Instagram at Level Up Philly One. Watch the dance battles. We're actually in talks right now with a famous film producer who's actually interested in doing our story. I'll reveal that in a little while where he's coming out again next week to look
Awesome.
at it because this has now become a part of Philadelphia history. Now it's a part of Black American history. Level Up, so it needs to be captured. The movement because this is replicable. We want to take it to other
Yes.
cities. Level Up Baltimore, Level Up South Bronx, Level Up Queensbridge. Even wanting to holler at Nas about taking it to Queensbridge
Yeah.
projects. So yeah, please levelupphilly.org. You can go to the donate button and please, just know that it's going directly. We have very little overhead compared to the amount of children. It goes directly to them. But yeah, and then if you hit contact on the website, it'll come directly to me. If anyone wants to come out and visit, please do. We're about to have our career development lab set up in 2 weeks. We need all different professions coming up for career
Yes.
days. Financial literacy, all of the above. So let's all play our part. Let's just play it well. What
Absolutely.
would Martin do? What would Malcolm do? You
Yes.
know what I mean?
All of them. Yes. And I can't say enough how not only proud of you I am, but how encouraged I am by the work that you do. Because sometimes, we all have our spaces of influence and what we do, but you show people what is possible and that they don't necessarily have to be as hands-on as you are, as long as they're supporting what you do so that you can keep doing it. This is how you have chosen to lead and be impactful, and you are successful at it. So people don't have to recreate the wheel. They can just support you.
100%. Yes. And if anyone would like to see our professional deck, by all means, reach out to me, and I'll send it to you as well, Stephanie. You got to see our professional
Yeah.
deck. 26 slides in the form of a magazine or booklet. Just it'll make you love Philly youth all over again. So. And if anyone would like to see that professional deck, whether to share, whether to have personally, share with their board or
Mhm.
corporation, please reach out on the website, go to contact, and just request a copy of the professional deck. We'll send it to you either digitally or hard copy.
Yes, indeed. Well, Pastor Aaron Campbell, I love you much. I'm
Uh,
so
for
thrilled
sure.
at everything that you are doing, and hopefully we will, people will be able to continually access this interview, visit the website, and figure out how to get in where they fit in to continue uplifting your good works.
Oh wow, my sister. That's why I had to take the shades off. You know what I mean? This is family time, me and you talking right now. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir.
So yeah. So my sister, I'm so thankful for you. So
Indeed.
thankful. I'm walking in the building right now,
Yeah, I was going to say,
actually.
well, you've been driving all this time. I
Feeling.
was going to tell you, be safe on the road and keep doing what you do. But take care, darling.
Hey, my sister. Hey, you know what? Hold on. Let me just run in and let me see if I got some babies to say what's up to you real quick.
Okay.
Hey, hold on. Yo, Lee, come here, yo. Yo, holla, man. We're on the radio, man. So that's my sister Stephanie Renee. Yo, this was one of Philly's biggest shooters. Locked up since 14 years old. In the jail system, there's 5 phones on State Road: a Uptown phone, a North Philly phone, a South Philly phone, a West Philly phone, and a Puerto
Hmm.
Rican phone. When he was locked up on State Road, he ran the West Philly phone. It means you couldn't even call home if you were from West Philly without his
Hmm.
permission. And if he got mad, he'd just take the phone off the hook for the day. Big gun boy, did a lot of time upstate. I adopted him as a son. He's now employed here at Level Up. He's a mentor, and he's runs the kitchen.
Yeah.
So you know what I
Yeah.
mean. So yeah, Leaky, you want to holler at him real quick? Just say anything. I don't know. Thank you.
Oh, it's a little hard to hear you. I think Aaron still has his. Yeah, there you go.
Bang. You hear me? So you can hear
Yeah,
me
yeah.
now? I would just say, thank you for taking issues and level up. You're the biggest thing in America. I'm a part of something very big. I'm just happy to be doing what I'm doing. It's all thanks to this man, Aaron. Yeah, so this is what I'm doing. You saved my life, and I'm trying to say everybody else's, at least play a part of it.
Yes, yes, indeed. Well, we thank you. We thank you
Yeah,
for all the ways that you contribute to what I have seen firsthand is a beautiful, beautiful ministry happening in Philly. And so, congratulations to you. Keep doing what you do, and continue to shine your
yes,
light on
man.
these young people that are coming up behind you.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you for hearing me out.
Yeah. Yeah, don't worry. I was going to say you got plenty of work to do, so we're going to let you go. But thank you for giving us some time today, and I'm going to be back at you to talk about that podcast lab for
Oh,
sure.
sister, we need you already recruited. It's already a done deal. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, my
All right.
sister. Well,
Thank
look, love
you.
you. All
Love
right,
you
and
too.
thanks for your time, my sister.
You got it.
All right, bye
Take
bye.
care. Bye bye. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you will run this video back, share it with your networks so that you are clear that you don't have to lift the heavy lift all by yourself. There are people out here who are already doing the good hard work. They just need your support. That was Pastor Aaron Campbell, his organization, Level Up Philly, doing mighty works here in the city. We're going to take a quick musical break. And when we come back, we're going to wrap up today's program talking about more of that idea of access to the resilience and resources we need to get over the hump. Our Power Up song for the week comes to us courtesy of the mighty Mos Def. I just figured if we're talking about lifting up our babies, then this song absolutely speaks to that. Our Power Up song for the week is Umi Says.
I don't wanna write this down. I don't wanna tell you how I feel right now. I don't wanna take no time to write this down. I don't wanna tell you how I feel right now. Hey, tomorrow may never come. For you or me, life is not promised. Tomorrow may never show up. For you and me, this life is not promised. I ain't no perfect man, I'm trying to do the best that I can with what it is I have. I ain't no perfect man, I'm trying to do the best that I can with what it is I have. Put my heart and soul into this song. Yes, yes. I hope you feel me. From where I am to wherever you are. I mean that sincerely. Tomorrow may never come. For you and me, life is not promised. Tomorrow may never appear. You better hold this very moment. It's very close to you right now. Very close to you right now. So close to you right now. So close to you. Don't be afraid. Let it shine. My homie said, shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. My hobby said, shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. My hobby said, shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. My homie said, shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. Sometimes I get discouraged. I look around and things are so weak. People are so weak. Sometimes I feel like crying. Sometimes my heart gets heavy. Sometimes I just wanna leave and float away. Sometimes I don't know what to do with myself. Passion takes over me. Feel like a man going insane. Lose my brain, trying to maintain my thing. Hey, 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 hey. Put my heart and soul into this, y'all. I hope you feel me where I am to wherever you are. Sometimes I don't want to be bothered. Sometimes I just want a quiet life. Me and my baby, me and my lady. Sometimes I don't want to get into snowball. Sometimes I don't want to be a soldier. Sometimes I just want to be a man. But homie said, shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. My hobby said, shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. My dreamer said, shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. My elder said, shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. I want black people to be free, to be free, to be free. Want my people to be free, to be free, to be free. Want my people to be free, to be free, to be free. Want black people to be free. That's all that matters to me. 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 Black people unite and let's all get that. Gotta have one, gotta have that up. Each of them said they want all one life. One man, one voice, one mic. Black people unite. Come on and do it right. Black people unite. Come on and do it right. Black people unite. Come on and get down. Gotta have one.
You are listening to the MOJO on Soul Sanctuary Radio. Embrace and explore your black magic. And And we are back for the conclusion of today's The Mojo Live. And ladies and gentlemen, like I say, I know that I'm not the only person who's been through it in the last however long, days, weeks, months, decade. It's been hard on a lot of us. So I want to give you some tools today to close out the program that come to us from a very trusted resource. And that would be in the space of this amazing book. I'm going to put the graphic up on the screen so that you all can just listen along with me as I read. This comes to us courtesy of Tracy Michelle Lewis Jiggets. The book is called Black Joy, Stories of Resistance, Resilience, and Restoration. It is an NAACP Image Award-winning collection of essays that talk about the beauty of living in this skin at this time in history. However hard it might feel, there is always joy to be found. And so the little bit that I'm going to share with you today comes from a chapter that's titled Smells Like Blackness. The crispness in the way we go off in our mastery of the arts and sports and science and math and any other door we kick down. The bite of our bounce back game. The wispy side eyes at white male foolishness on the job. The rancid realization of white folks who have for too long mistaken their mediocrity for superiority. The dewy, old but new again fragrance of marching in the streets, of rising up in the streets, of lying down in the streets, of the no justice, no peace in these streets. The peculiar and natural delight of our laughter and joy. The peculiar and natural intimacy of our sorrow. The peculiar and natural urgency of our rage. The delicate balance of honoring the struggle, but standing true in the candy-coated awareness that we are and have been the originators of nearly every major American and or global cultural moment, musical genre, socio-political movement, pop culture fascination, and artistic innovation. There's more than just a zest to this. There's levels. Melanin pheromones give off something both ingenuously human and astonishingly divine. Inhale the way we move. Exhale any definitive notions of who we are. We're never outdone, never putrid, never spoiled, always an exquisite mix of both sharp and misty virtues. Like good and bad black. Like hot and cold black, like near and far black, like everything and nothing black. We are. You are, ladies and gentlemen, something fantabulously wonderful. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. The whole premise of this show is to embrace and explore your Black magic. Trust and believe that you have it. We need you to know it, and we need you to use it in conjunction with all the other people around you who are knowing, using, and claiming it for themselves. Our world needs it. Rest when you need to, but definitely get in where you can and help make magic happen right here where you are. Until next week, this is your Vibe, Mr. Stephanie Renee. Thank you for tuning in today. Take good care of yourselves, and we'll be back to do this again, Lord willing, next Wednesday at noon. Hope you tune in then.